thank you, Rokas. This is
Thank you.
a great opportunity to support you in your journey, seeking truth in martial arts. So thank you for the opportunity. And
Thank you.
My intention is you don't get better watching me do technique, and you certainly don't get better watching me talk about technique. So I would love to put you on the mat and give you a training session in support of your upcoming rematch in Aikido versus MMA. And I think disclaimer here is, at this point, I teach mixed martial arts for self-defense. These are some of the techniques that I've found to be the most functional from Aikido, and in how we're setting them up. The form is more functional. And of course, the methodology of training with alive drilling, aliveness, is more functional. But they're by no means high percentage. And yet some of these techniques are exist across martial arts. So they're the best that I've found so far. And then I want to talk also about some of the principles as we get there. But certainly Aikido and other traditional martial arts feature mindfulness and centering. So the subjective dimension. Are you practicing mindfulness and breath and awareness while you're sparring? That's so interesting to me, because if you can breathe while you're getting hit, you will raise the fight or flight threshold so that you can literally stay conscious and centered while you're being hit. There's all kinds of optionality that comes out of being able to be the eye of the hurricane, or aware in the moment, in the chaos. And that's what randori actually means anyway. The second part, which you will see in the old Gracie Vale Tudo Jiu-Jitsu videos, is how they close the distance. And if Aiki is anything as a principle, it is that capacity to hold the distance and close the distance skillfully, so you get into a position of advantage from which you can immediately throw. Now, if you can set that up with a submission on the ground as soon as you get there, that's amazing. But there's only a few mixed martial artists like Demetrius Johnson, Dominic Cruz, who can strike and clinch and take down and throw, and then submit on the ground, like simultaneously, all in a flow. So with that being said, let's warm up, and we'll cover the 4 ranges, the kickboxing range, boxing range, we'll clinch, and then the clinch will set up our game plan for you, being that you're tall and you have nice long arms. And let's see what we can make work, also mixing it with a little bit of judo and wrestling to set it up. So why don't we start just with a little bit of footwork, like you would in the beginning of jiu-jitsu. So just shuffling and getting the lateral motion. So why don't you guys just in a circle shuffle like this.
Okay. Cool, big circle. Okay.
And then the outside, face outside.
Inside.
And then push off. I just want you guys starting to feel familiar with how your feet are going to move a little differently from when we train traditional Aikido. So we're going to use that footwork today, especially on how to get into the clinch. So already, here we go. We're going to set up our moai. This is all about distance management and closing the distance. So from here, this is the so-called moai in Aikido, the harmonious distance, the safe distance. And from here, this is the first range. So my partner is going to throw a jab, and here I can have a little more relaxed stance. So he's going to jab, and I'm going to pat it, or parry it. And as I do that, I'm going to step laterally. And he's going to cross, and I'm going to step laterally. And that's it. Set it up just a couple times, and then we're going to move around naturally. And I'm going to keep the moai a wide distance. He jabs, I parry. He crosses, I parry. I'm working natural footwork. If he starts to come towards me, I keep my distance. As we get into a little closer moai, I'm going to have to tighten up my guard. So I recommend getting tight, shelling up. So shrugging my shoulders, making sure I'm leaning forward. and putting my palms on the back, putting my palms on above my eyebrows. So now from here, as we get to this distance, boxing distance, notice also that the Moai is determined by the length of our arms. So actually the Moai is different for him than it is for me. He can reach me, I can't reach him. So I have to be aware of that as I move around. So when I get closer, I'm going to just shutter block. So it basically looks like this. Just basic safety position of closing straight in. And this is my opportunity to practice breathing while I get jabs, and then he crosses. Jabs, crosses. Okay, try that just first. Yeah, so the safest position when you're in trouble to default to is just shutting it.
Okay.
Boom. So just breathe and relax. That's your meditation practice while you're getting hit. I like to say breathe when you hit and breathe when you're hit. So now move around. Isolation drill. Move your feet naturally. Think of shuffling. And keep it at a productive level of distress so you can still stay in good form.
Got it.
Okay, Yame, good.
Yay! Okay.
Okay, now we're going to put together the two Moais, okay? If I'm wider, I don't have to stay so shelled up. I can parry. But the moment that he closes the distance, I have to shell up in that tighter way. Okay, so it'll look like this.
Got it. So when it's close, when it's closer, twirl. When it's further, parry.
Height.
Got it.
Exactly.
Okay.
You're moving well. So a lot of movement is good. And think about, don't go more than a couple steps backwards as you'll invite the attack. Always think maybe a couple back to make space, and always lateral movement. That's like we did the shuffling at the beginning, circular shuffling. And then the other thing is also you can choose to step when you close into that tighter distance and then stay alert and aware as you're being hit. You're choosing to move in. So try that one more time, and let's think about the Moai and as you choose.
So more lateral movement, and then when I choose to step in, then I twirl.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And be alert in there as you're being hit. Great, that looks great. Yame. Okay, ready for next?
Ready.
So now we're gonna do the clinch practice off of the straight punches. And all I want you to do so far is practice the feeling of the rubber band. So as he jabs, he's gonna jab and bring it back. I'm gonna crash and remeet straight into it. So he hits me, and then I don't wait. It's like he's holding me back with him. And I get grounded and centered there. Breathe. And he does this cross. Boom. They'll call it crashing the line for nothing. The big committed movement in. So why am I doing this? because even some of the Vale Tudo videos where there's those challenge matches, as you try to close the distance, there's the tendency to get sloppy because you're in a scramble to close the distance. And you drop this and start reaching for your opponent. That's how grapplers do MMA sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
So you want to move in with your head covered up. That's protect the king. So that's what we're doing. You're going to get close to him before you open your arms with your shell still up. Okay, so try that one. Now take your time once you get in there. Lean into his center so you connect. When I'm here, he hits. Boom. I want to feel this for a minute.
Okay.
Connection. Because that's what I'm going to use to pick up whatever I get on the way in. Yeah, leaning, that was it. The genius of Kano Sensei, who founded Judo, was in Kuzushi. It's that center to center connection so that Uke leans onto his toes but doesn't quite take another step. That's what we're studying there as well. And then let's do the next one. We're moving quick here, so we'll add the hooks. And it's from here, it's this way. So not this, and not reaching out for it. I'm going to let it hit me. Another mindfulness meditation. Breathe when I'm hit, and Uke can breathe when he hits. And I want to let it hit me. So it'll look like this. So this is really the centering practice first, the Kihon. We're going to introducing the technique, and then we'll move around with it and clinch and so on. That's good. Use your shoulder and your bicep to absorb the block so that I'm cupping the back of my neck.
Okay. Got it.
So that the shoulder and bicep, because my shoulders are shrugged as well. It's actually, when my shoulders are shrugged, it's a very small movement actually.
Got it.
And of course I don't stay up there. I just boom and back. Yeah, really relax there into your center. We'll move to the clinch. And so each one of these will have a basic drill and then a clinch that goes with it. So these are super important in terms of setting up where we want to be when we're connected with these guys. He throws a right hook and I crack. He throws a left hook and I crash. Right hook, crash. Okay, then the second part, he throws his right hook, I crash. I want an underhook. Okay, so I'm going to come here, shuffle around. If he knows anything, he's going to wizard, which means grab an overhook over here. Now, if I can, I want to be in a position of advantage. So I'm going to cut this down. This is a very ideal position. I'm listening to his chest, controlling the wrists and the biceps. So this is Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Even if I don't have the wrist, he can't strike me. This is an ideal situation. Anybody who knows how to wrestle is going to circle, face me. I won't be able to grab that, but we want to start from the ideal if we can. I can also start to feel leaning into his center here. Connecting in. Yes, and when in doubt, go straight to that shutter block. When in doubt, just cover up. Good elbow attempt, yeah.
Yes.
Good, and really ground there. Feel comfortable in that position. Notice your head control. That's so key. Where the head goes, the body goes. So you have head control now. That's the ideal. That looks great, Rokas. Okay, so now we have almost all the tools we need to start to clinch. Let's do one more. So we're going to use, so this is shelling, the shell, and this is shielding. We're going to use the shield on the straight punches as well as on the hooking punches. So first, just keep on form. He's going to jab, and I like a upside down windshield wiper. I'm going to knock it to the side and across. I could still use the same one. Better to knock it to the back side, but I could also do jab cross. 1, 2, and then I slip to the outside of it. And you don't have to think about it, you just have to do 1, 2. Boom, or boom, boom. Only keep in mind that my left hand is closer to uke, so that's a better one to block with to start. But in follow-ups, 1, 2, and I'm getting in my hips and my knees. So if you see this kind of weaving motion,
yeah,
that's the same feeling as. Good, now start to move around a little bit. Natural footwork. Now be mindful of the moai. If you back up a little bit, then he has to start to close the distance to hit you. So it's so important as the foundation that you start to feel safe from getting hit.
Yeah.
Now you're freed up in your awareness to focus on other things like, how do I clinch? How do I throw? And that's what we want to set up next. So there's one more entry to the clinch that we want to do that's also going to start to give you some options for throwing. So this is probably less likely because I think you're taller than your opponent. But you do want to have the option of weaving underneath. That obviously creates a great position. If we're a little closer, I can start to weave. So the motion goes here. And I still stay shelled up pretty well. And as he hooks, from under. I want to put my hand here for Aikido purposes. And I'm starting to lean into his armpit to connect to the center. So, a little closer for this one. He hooks. Step in. And my hand's here. So I weave underneath, and I'm gonna actually pick up his leg. Now I don't pick up his leg if he's heavy. I'm gonna lean into his center, and then his leg becomes very light. And then my hand is similarly here. Okay, so the principle is if uke's on one foot, he's light to throw. It's a lot easier. How do I make iriminage functional? Well, I put uke on one foot first. So, for example, and you'll see other guys teach this. On this one, I come under, I'm gonna throw him over here, and then I wanna set up my judo. So this is just kind of a functional Aikido. So, or even without that, if I clinch to an overhook, I wanna make him step, so his leg's in the clear. Once I chop the leg out, and he's on one foot, that's when he's gonna be light. So if I can get to my osotogari, then it's a little lighter with the throat.
Yeah.
On the other side, similar principle, come underneath as I'm coming up. Now he's lighter. Does it look like Aikido?
Oh yeah, I see the Aikido behind it. No problem for me. Yeah.
It's also, Greco and freestyle.
Okay.
So. But I think it looks enough like Aikido. So.
Oh yeah.
So the other thing is the big overhand right is like the iriminage, but really it is like throwing a punch as well.
Okay.
To grab the leg. Just again, not making him hop, because then he replants his center. I just want him to lean, and then this is now very light. Yeah, and then yes, Kazushi there. Yeah. Do you know a gable grip?
Should I go for it?
Yeah, Gabe will grip that once you get your elbow on top of his trap.
Let's go later.
Nice. And some of it may not work in sport, you know, with someone really trained. Some of it may be better for street self-defense with a less trained opponent. I mean, any decent wrestler is not going to let you take their hips like that. And if you're underneath their punch, you can, you know, osotogari right away. So could have a chance.
One question with the head, it felt good to also go with the head, but do you go with the head as well? Like if I have here, if I go, or if I'm there, should I use the head?
So good question. Watch what this is also. First, especially for standing submission, so important. This is a head and arm triangle.
Okay. Right.
You can pass out standing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in any case, yes, I'm not tilting over, but I'm pinching everything tight, like constricting like a boa constrictor. He's pouching there. So, if I want to just restrain someone and talk to him, de-escalate the conflict, great place to do it. He's going to go to sleep. Now, if he's still resisting, then I can bring him to a place where maybe I, complete the throw. And that's more street self-defense. You're going to probably have to go for it pretty quick on someone who is trained.
Cool.
You want to try the arm triangle?
Yeah, sure.
So he obviously can't have his hand in there, or that is going to make it not possible. So start to squeeze.
I go for the head, right?
Well, think of a rear naked choke grip if you're going to do it that way. So you have to.
Here.
So my right hand will go in my left elbow, and then my left hand goes behind my head. Right hand in left elbow, and then lean forward, and there you go. Or just keep your ass grip and squeeze.
Okay.
So for me, I am technique agnostic. The Bruce Lee principle of there's what works and what doesn't, and absorb what's useful, discard what's useless, add what is essentially your own. That is a great way to restrain someone without hurting them. So you could call that Aikido or not. But for me, it is functional in attaining a nonviolent outcome. Chokes are really important. So let's move along in the journey. So let me give a little speech about the next part here, because this is all about, we've done the striking part. Now we're going to do the clinching part. And you're already playing with that a little bit as we did the last drill that was alive. You have the basic notion of Muay. And you have, in any martial art, the challenge of having to close the distance. If I'm a striker and I move in, I can run into his punches.
Yeah.
If I'm a grappler and I move in, he might just move back. Or he might move in and I move back. So we're holding a dynamic tension where even if I'm an attacker, I have to navigate, I call it the hot coals. I have to commit an attack once I step into the danger zone. I have to be committing my way in to strike. Otherwise, I will walk right into his jab, or his punches. Now, that leaves me with something really important. Why does he move back when I move in? Or why do I move back when he moves in? Because there's strikes. So the same thing, if I want him not to move in on me, then I have to use my jab, my attempt, to make him respect the distance, the boundary. And once I do that, so Uke's gonna have to learn to cover up here, because the first and best way, yes, mouth guards are great. The first and best way for me to close the distance is as he moves in, atemi. Now, why would I do that? He moves in, atemi. He starts to respect that. So now it can become a credible threat to feint and get in. Now, ideally, I can set him up to feint a couple times, and then as he moves in again, I'm moving in as he moves in. I'm committing and attempting to get to the clinch. That's option one. Or I'm committing to clinch as he attempts. So that's option two. Meaning I don't just want to run in here like this. He's going to pick his shots. And this is what you see that's terrible when people open up and start running in to try to clinch.
Yeah.
I have to clinch as he strikes or strike in order to clinch. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can feel it. And you watch the old Gracie fights and it's like, he's coming in on me or am I coming in on him? And we want to hold that distance so that if he doesn't really commit an attack, I can stay back. So I want to hold the distance to make him commit an attack so that as he's committing to attack, I can clinch in. So I know his attacks are dedicated and he's not picking his shots from his center. And then likewise, if I'm initiating the clinch, I want him to respect the distance or immediately be moving in as I attempt, committing my movement in close distance.
Right.
So that's as simply as I can put it. It's a very sophisticated dynamic tension kind of martial arts principle of just distance management. And it's all the greats are phenomenal at this. And you see a lot of the Japanese influenced martial artists like Machida, he stays out, very elusive. And then when he gets inside the clinch, just that Moai just enough, like he gets inside, then he launches a very committed, straight, strong attack.
Right.
And also on the grappling side with the Gracies, they are navigating that distance with this thing, down kick. Because now, as you're worrying about the strike and respecting the distance, I'm going to use that to come in and clinch. So definitely recommend those Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in action videos to see what this really feels like. And if Aikido is anything in reality, this is it.
Yeah.
Causing the uke to commit an attack so that you have something to tie up with. And so that's what we're going to work with next. So here's the first one. You can use your blade hand like wari wari koge suru in Iwama style. I initiate. So he's entered my distance. I initiate. Now I hit him in the mouth last night with this, so there's no glove on the edge of your hand. So for training purposes, I'm just going to jab him. And I'm gonna do that so that walk back and come in a few times. Boom, I'm gonna make him believe it there, and then I'm gonna come in. Let's do it on this side. My footwork is again like I was shuffling. It's called Acro Step in wrestling. I'm gonna pull myself in.
Okay.
And again, I'm choosing to navigate the distance. And then I'm gonna go step in. Guess what's here? This, or at least a double under position. Something very advantageous because of how I blended in. So once again, try it simple first. Boom. So just stay there. Boom. Boom. And then I'm gonna underhook as I come in. Make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, make him believe that. He doesn't just want to walk through your moai. He's going to believe it. It's going to stay at the edge of your moai. And then you choose when to close the distance. As he's coming in, you're both coming in. Yeah, so maybe for uke, just for safety, make sure if your hands are off of your forehead, you'll get one of these. So I would put your wrists above, connected to your forehead. Yeah. It hurts worse in a sense because you're absorbing it, but it also prevents getting hit.
I realized I messed up the feet, so.
Yeah, do it. Go ahead. Do it 10 times. And you can actually do the same footwork in reverse if you notice. So to go forwards and backwards 10 times.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. MMA. Now we have one more basic form, and then we're just going to put it all together with an aliveness drill. I'm going to be the one clinching, even though I'm Nage, so I'm defender. So I'm going to be pushing him across the mat. And he's just going to be throwing any combination, just slow. And I'm going to be either boom, 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 boom. And as soon as I get close enough to him, as I start to lean in, I'm going to underhook. So I'm just going to walk. And by walk, I mean walk. So you will have to run in at some point to clinch with your partner if they're trying to evade you. And I'm also already feeding the bicep if I can get it. And then pause there, yeah. Feel really grounded there. So here's one more just point on methodology. If you find yourself reverting back to your game A, dial down the intensity like 20%. Go slower. Then you'll have the awareness left over to choose a new pathway. So now we're going to do 2 different isolation drills in a row.
Okay.
So every isolation drill, we introduce the form, Kihon, then we isolate and do an aliveness drill of that specific form. So what's the first one we did? I initiate.
Yeah.
The clinch. Now we're going to give uke, jab, cross, left hook, right hook. And that's the parameters of the isolation drill so that we can keep it at a lower level of resistance with a limited set of attacks. And then we get to play inside of that safely. And we're starting, just keep it 30%, 40%.
Yeah.
So that I can start to also factor in that I want to stay centered internally. If it's too much, I'm going to start to react and have that form.
Yeah.
And also go unconscious. So here's the drill. Jab, cross, hook, hook. And I'm going to atemi, so he has to be alert to block his face as well. So I'm going to use that to close the distance. We learn when there's a productive amount of distress. We create flow when there's a balance of challenge and the skills to meet the challenge.
Right.
So it should feel like serious play.
Right.
And if it's too much and you're getting tense again, just invite him to dial it down.
I forgot the jab.
Yeah. Yeah, so what worked or didn't work for you there?
I think I'm choosing still too quick of a pace because I go to my game.
Your game A.
Game A, yeah. So I was about to tone it down, to try different things, but the game A feels good.
Great. So what really worked for me there, what you were doing is you started making him believe your jab, and he was going backwards when he started believing that when he would get hit. Right. So then he's a little more hesitant, and as he's going backwards, that's when you're clinching, so he's already off balance.
Right.
So that really works.
Nice.
Yeah. So now let's try the one you're probably feeling better at. And it's a little, in a way, trickier, but to clinch as he strikes. So now I'm going to take away my jab, so I have to work my defenses and how to enter with my shield. Okay, so now take away my teeth and claws. Rely on my defense to enter.
I think I'm still messing up the footwork. I think I have a bad habit of not doing the step to step, so I'm gonna have to drill that unless I would go easier pace. But I didn't. The pace was good enough for me to feel fairly comfortable at going in, but the steps, I was too busy on the upper part.
That's okay, actually. So for that one, that's why we did the walking steps, because you may run in, actually. One thing there that you could do differently is instead of crossing your feet, like typically you don't want to start to cross over your feet this way.
Right.
So even if you're here, I would shuffle here.
Ah, got it.
And you can shuffle yourself onto his back as well.
Right.
And then shrug as you go. So that's why that footwork at the beginning wasn't a little thing. It's like, it's really everything. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so why don't we take anything else actually about clinching?
No, it's just a lot of new things. So I'm still digesting, but otherwise, no questions at my face.
Yeah, and you can play with this now obviously you're already playing with it for the rest of our lives. We all can. Very deep concept. So let's take our gloves off and we'll get in for some throws now.
Okay. No gloves at all, right?
Yeah, we don't need them for the nage part. So this is the judo variation of a rimi-nage with a little sotogari, the outside sweep. So I come underneath here, I'm gonna punch over, and I'm gonna rotate my hips so that his left leg is available to me there. Now I can choke him here, or I can kick forward and then kick back.
Right.
So that one you've probably done before. So underneath, punch over, rotate. Okay. So Uke is gonna spread his legs. Otherwise he's gonna get Osoto Guruma, which is both of his legs. Now the other one, let's do both since that was familiar. And I'm holding his trapezius. This is a lot harder. And I'm gonna have to step to the side and make him step so that it's available to me. So it's all grappling. You make him step with your center. Now with my arms are connected, make him step. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. And my rimi-nage is over him right. So I chop. Good, now rotate him with your hips, rotate to the left, almost like when you throw across. So his weight is off to the side. Then you also won't hurt his knee, you'll chop right behind his leg.
I rotate before the kick, right?
Yeah, so the footwork, so I'm here, and I actually want to rotate this way.
Right.
Just like when I throw across.
Right.
So rotate that way, then I can.
Got it.
There we go. That's awesome. That was great. So try the other one. It's a lot more difficult. So be really mindful of where you're making him step so that you can easily get behind his foot. you have to pull him towards you as you step to the side. That's the trick of it.
Okay. Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So now for his lead hook, I'm going to be a little closer so that I can weave properly. And the first thing is the weave. So he hooks, I come underneath. And this one is, as I come up, lift. And as I'm leaning, I'm going to do my big overhand left. I'm going to throw him towards my open side because that's where his tailbone is. That's where he's off balance. So ideally, he'll fall the first time. So let's see if he does. Now, the other thing is if he hops, I'm going to throw here, he hops. Well, just step around again.
Right.
And trip him.
So grab and
yeah, lean into him and lift it up so you know he's light.
Okay.
He's on one foot. Then the hand just tilts him over where he's off balance. Pick up the leg first so he's off center.
Okay.
Then throw it. Yeah, and then keep your posture if you can.
Okay.
Good, and keep going. Like trip him again if that happens.
Okay.
Just stay in it, yeah. There we go. So we're not going into an aliveness drill, but you know. So on the left side as well, I'm going to clinch with an underhook. So I come here. Now I step in with my right foot and get this position that I wanted from before. So even if I'm just here, I may not get his box up. I could be on his trapezius. He could also still whizzer. He knows what he's doing, but I'm deep in behind this leg here. So now what am I going to do? You know, shomanate or skiage. I'm going to lean as this comes up the front to his chin.
Ooh.
It's kind of a koso pugari as well, where I can push into it and tilt him off center. So even if he doesn't let me bend him backwards, so stay strong here. If I step with my center, I have a chance to throw. Great, go ahead. Try just a handful of those. So underhook, yep. Okay, that one looks solid. So in the interest of time, let's add the henka. So this is the Dominic Cruz special. This is a knee tap. It's like a riminage as well. But it goes together well here because in the moment that, it's probably not going to let me bend him backwards like that. So same entry, I clinch and get to here. Now as I throw, he's going to step with it. He doesn't want this leg here. I'm way in behind him, so he's going to step out. Now look, knee tap. This does a big overhand right, and I run across him. This is freestyle wrestling. It looks like Aikido too. So he has his whizzer, and I throw it over. I'm mainly starting to step with my left foot and then running through with my right. So let's just get in here. I throw here, he steps back, and then immediately I'm going to go across his body. So I've got to make him believe the first one to set up the second one. And I've got to really throw it pretty quickly to time it well. So Uke also has to whizzer. So get that overhook. So otherwise you go to his back, right? That's the feel, yeah. All right, Yame. So one more little henka here in case he does something funny. And this is more likely for self-defense. But sometimes when I'm in here and he starts, maybe he doesn't even step around, maybe he starts pushing back down. And I want to go here. And then this position results. I call this like a functional kaitanage.
Right.
It's a 2-on-1 Muay Thai kind of position for self-defense. Right. But you also have a kaitanage that you can throw here. Or with more motion, obviously. So if I'm here throwing, he looks down, I can step around. Or the Udegarami, very easy too. So maybe it doesn't work here, but I can which also sets up what I want to do next. So don't worry about that one. It's unlikely to happen on a trained fighter.
Right.
Same for this next one, but you're taller than he is. So you may clinch, pretend like you're shorter. You may clinch, punch, and then be right here. Muay Thai clinch. So even if we have single neck ties, head to head, this is a good position to be, especially if I have double neck ties. So I want to do a snap down to a front headlock, or guillotine. So let's just say you get from here, left to right. And now I'm gonna choke him.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of rock the baby in the cradle, as they say, and then start to pinch. He's just gonna tap out there.
Yeah.
What I want to do to set up the Aikido technique is as he's about to tap, he's up on his toes probably. Now as he comes down, I'm gonna switch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've never seen it work, but it's true. And for self-defense, obviously, it's a better option.
So that's good. Get you in here. And this arm?
Yep, and gable grip. That'll be really strong. Yeah, if he goes belly down, well, that's good too. He'll likely roll out of it.
More here.
That's it. Now throw him. Yeah, there's the leverage. Oh, you got to step over his head first with your left foot. Left foot has to step. Right foot doesn't. Yep.
Got it.
There you go. Left foot steps over now. Oh, armbar. Okay.
Okay.
That's great. That's great. Shall we finish it off with? Oh, you want to do one more?
Yeah, just with the arm.
Go ahead.
Well, still working on my BJJ, but
There you go. The right foot can actually stay where it is. Just the left has.
right, right.
That's great there. You got it.
Cool.
All right. I have wrist blocks, and then we're done. I promise. I get that bicep control position. It's actually going to be easier against the wall. So if I clinch and end up hitting him against the wall, now it's harder for him to circle out because I'm pinning him, and I can feed my control here. So the only setup I've been able to be successful with Rokyo or Nikyo or Sankyo is here, basically. Sankyo you can do just from here, like a regular Greco clinch. But from here, look, 4-finger grip, palm to palm. So even without this, like, he's gonna have trouble getting out of that for a minute because he doesn't have his 2-on-1. Now I do have to give up the position to shoot for this, so it's a little risky. But his other arm's over here, I know where it is. So from here, I'm gonna come over and do my Rokyo. And then I'm gonna pin him to the back of the cage. He's tapping out. So I have 2-on-1 here, and I'm elbow locking. So from the other side, say with this regular clinch, I'm pinning him. I'm leaning into him, wrist control. Then I'm gonna bump, and you know, maybe I have a penny here if I want them. There's a headbutt if any. But basically, even if he's withering here, starting to spread out, I can get my bicep control there, I'm pretty sure. Can you guys see from there?
Not everything, but it's.
So say it's
okay,
here.
yeah.
Right? Now his hand has to open. So I might, hit him a couple times. Then I can shoot for when his hand's open to grab his 4 fingers. And then again here, I can come under 2-on-1. And then I'm gonna step out. And ideally he'll be pinned up against here. And he taps.
Right.
So you know enough Aikido, you know what else is there already. So here we are. And I maybe bump to get my bicep control, grab, and I can also step out to get my Nikyo. So again, I'm here, wrist control, bump, 4-finger grip, and then I, again, just keep pinning him, 2-on-1, now left, right, and there it is. Nikyo. The last one, I don't need bicep control, but I can't do Sankyo if he has a fist, no way. Even with his fingers, it's going to be a shoot. So if I feel that his fingers are open, maybe I distract him over here, nice body shot, so there's no gloves on. I'm going to grab his thumb and his fingers. And then I have to step out, pin his back to the cage there too. He's already stand up right there. So his back's here. So I'll just so again, bump, bicep control if I want to do the Rokyo or Nikyo. Otherwise, I'm grabbing over the top and pinning him, pitching his other arm. So I'm trying to trap his other arm too. And then I have it here. Once his hand is open only. And then I'm going to extend and shoot. Turn through. Use my elbow to keep distance here and tap. So, who knows? But that's as good as I've found.
I see.
You have a try there? You can try it out.
Yeah, we do. We'll just carry my laptop. Okay. Let's see what that is. Okay. Reference point. Okay, let's try it. So, are we here? You see
yep.
That?
So same idea. You've clinched in, and you're going to drive him to the cage, to the wall.
Okay. So first, his fingers are up.
Well, first is to control the biceps so he doesn't punch you. Control the wrist first before even. First step, maybe you have his wrist but not his bicep.
Okay. Then
you can bump to get in and try to control his bicep.
Okay.
And again, Uke can whizzer there. So.
Right.
Yep.
Then I grab the fingers.
Now, not so that he can bend his fingers. You want to grab all 4 fingers and so that he cannot grip over you. So he's locked straight. Yep. Then you can go 2-on-1.
Release and
go 2-on-1 first. So you have the grip, then move your body.
Say that again. First you grip.
Yeah, 2-on-1 grip first, then step and release.
Sorry. So I go out.
Grab 2-on-1. That's your safety. Yep. Okay. Now 1-2.
Here.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. Next one will be here. And so for the Nikyo, do I grab with the second hand as well? Or?
Yeah, 4-finger grip, up, palm up, yeah, thumbs up.
Okay, for the Nikyo as well?
All 4 fingers, because, yeah, Rokyo and Nikyo, same.
Okay. Go out.
2-on-1, now.
Here.
Yep.
Okay. And Sankyo, no.
Yeah, palm down for Sankyo. Okay. Now, you could have wrist control and then slide it down, maybe. And you don't need the bicep necessarily. So here's the problem with that, though. The problem, though, with that is if you don't get the 2-on-1 with the 4 fingers, he'll easily just drop his elbow out of it. So you have to get the 4 fingers and the thumb 2-on-1. Then maybe you have a chance.
Okay. Okay, let's try one.
So the right hand is the wrist, right?
Okay.
Right hand controls the joint, really, not the wrist. It's lower than the wrist.
And then,
Yes, the left hand grabs 4 fingers and thumb. Now you have a chance there.
Right. Got it.
Yeah.
Do you want us to try one more of each, or?
Yeah, go ahead. Actually, add the Kotegaeshi. Where do you find the Kotegaeshi from the bicep control?
I'll try. So Kotegaeshi.
I would go thumb up, yeah.
Okay. So it's just here? Or?
Yep.
Okay, nice. Yeah, nice and quick. Okay. So now Kyo. And then I think we have to release
Yeah, make sure you grab around the joint there with your right hand as opposed to his wrist, so that when you spin out, you're already in the Sankyo. Like a Uchimawari. Like the Uchimawari is just, I'm not grabbing his wrist, I'm already on the Sankyo.
Okay. Yeah.
So these two are on the joint. Then I grab here.
Yeah.
I have to do that. And then by the time I come out over here, it's already set to go. And same, actually, let's do a close-up of the grip. So this is what it is. Sometimes that you see wrestlers size up like, or when we do submission grappling, you size up like this and he grips. But what if I'm just this much higher?
Okay.
Now he's going to take a second to get out of there until I get my 2-on-1.
Is that a way for me to check? I don't know.
Right. So he wants to try to resist somewhere?
Yeah, good. A little aliveness drill.
Yeah, he's not letting me pass under. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, of course I would go for something else, but I don't know.
Well, let's see. So it's a reasonable point. It's also what a temi is for, but if I'm here
Sure. Right.
and so resist a little bit. So I get the grip and then resist. Okay, so resist. So just keep your elbow down. That's why I need the Sankyo first. I already have the Sankyo.
Okay.
Don't let that up. Yeah, it's already out. So this is putting the Sankyo on. Where do you go? Boom, right. Knee in there, maybe. But then I want to keep him pinned too. If I let him out here, there's no leverage. I'm going to keep him pinned and resist. I really have to have the Sankyo already or there's no chance.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Try that.
Try it again. So that right hand has to be that the scissor fingers are over the joint of the wrist. And so when I grab around his thumb and fingers, the Sankyo's already on, starting to come on.
Yeah.
That's what I used to rotate through.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, good. And Kotegaeshi, left.
Yeah, try. Add a little resistance there too.
Okay.
So actually try anything. Try anything. Resist, keep him pinned if you can, but try any of those wrist locks and resist. A little aliveness drill.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the wrist gets a little sore, doesn't it?
Yeah. That was enough.
So now, okay, think about punching him a little bit. Well, you know, if he's open, let him know he's open as he's trying to do those wrist locks.
You try? Try punching? I was just in the I was focused on the wrist.
Keep him pinned, yeah, and then resist. Don't let him do that. Make a fist if you can. Don't let him do that.
Okay.
One more. Okay. Yeah, man. Well, guys, how did that feel?
Felt good. It was fun. It's great to do the alive part. Really brings in more confidence. Otherwise, there's always the what if. But if you do it alive, you can switch. Makes a very big difference.
Yeah, it's so important because in the methodology, if I can even tell you what to do functionally, and even tell you how to do chain link takedowns combinations, or even have you drill them static, it actually isn't in your body until you've done it alive. And so it's so important. And then you grow your own. You have to grow your own. You don't learn jujitsu, you grow it. You don't learn Aikido, you grow it. So it's yours now, and it'll be unique to you, which ones work and which don't, because you're taller than me. So it's body type, it's mindset. Do I like to enter more than I like to play evasive and evade, or do I like to counter throw? It's all different types of fighters, I would say, like types of martial artists.
Right. Cool.
So what worked the best for you today? What would, if you were to, this is the other thing, is in most classes, we all do the same techniques. But the way we grow a strategy when we're getting ready for a tournament is we build game A, B, C, which is actually based on where either your blind spots are, your gaps, like, oh, I don't have a guillotine defense, I got tapped out. So great, we have to go there and customize it to what you need to grow. Same thing for offense. Like, which pieces do you feel most comfortable with from our session today that you would say are game A for you?
Right. The setting up of just the blocking itself and letting the opponent, the partner come closer, and then going in for a clinch. Also setting up or going with. I mean, all the clinching felt great, and I felt most comfortable with just grabbing the leg. That was one, and also the soto ogari, is that how it's called? I keep on.
Oh, soto ogari, yeah.
Soto ogari. So and also with the riminage, that was nice too. I mean, a lot of things felt good. Some of them I'm still digesting, but grabbing the leg, going in for the clinch, using the leg, all those felt very good.
That's great. Well, it seems really natural for you, managing the distance and playing with the moai and also catching yourself and centering. That really worked for me. What was the amount of intensity that allowed you still to stay centered and present with what was going on, but not getting bored either?
Oh, no. But no, that definitely feels, I feel I did a mistake in the past oftentimes while exploring these things of giving too much intensity. And then I feel that I always have to, that's where I love the concept you said, that I always would go for something I felt most comfortable with, but then even that would be partially sloppy. I wouldn't work on the details. Would be more like survival, which is not so much training. I mean, maybe some sort of training, but just toning down the intensity, keeping it at a level where it's still challenging, but I can try new things. That was really great.
That's awesome. That's the mindfulness in motion. That's the flow. And the greats like Rickson Gracie, that's where Matt Thornton really got it. He got it from Bruce Lee in principle of aliveness. But Rickson, how does he teach? It's like do the technique, but then positional sparring. Imagine
Right.
if we just all did the same drills, like we sit around and drill arm bars, and then we just roll at the end. Everything. Well, you're going to do exactly what you experienced, which is go back to your defensive strategy, your game A, and you're not going to integrate the technique you studied that day. So the isolation drills are where the play is, and you can slowly integrate it at a comfortable level. And
Right.
that's why, to me, when we're talking about functional or modernizing something, you can't just modernize the form. You have to modernize the teaching methodology. And honestly, Aikido has so much in common with what we did today. It's about the aliveness and the connection and being able to stay centered and mindful and breathing while we're getting hit. So that's how you can cultivate a centered presence. It's all the principles are there. So whatever we call it, the truth will set you free. That's for sure.
Right. Good. Great. So is there anything else we should try to do, or or is it done for the day in terms
I think
of
it's done for the day. If you have any questions or requests, like how do I get this technique to work? Maybe I have something I pulled out of my.
No, I think I'm good. I don't want to overload myself. I think I will definitely need to try. Maybe one thing I would like to try, but I don't know if that's just a few more moments. If there are those few more moments, just to try the game A in terms of to see how that works.
Everything together.
Yeah, right.
Like a rondori.
Right.
That's great.
Okay.
I love it. So introduce, isolate, integrate. We almost forgot to integrate.
Right.
Which is the rondori at the end where everything mixes together. So uke has boxing. And then you get in, clinch and throw right away if you can. And if not, try to set something up, make him step.
Is it okay if we try it with you still?
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Let's do it.
Please. Computer, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So gloves on though, I guess. You don't want to.
Yeah, actually, give the MMA gloves to your uke.
Okay. So
in case you want to grab his wrist.
okay, and
or you just want to throw.
That's a good question. What about me though, in terms of setting up with the punch? Just barehanded?
Well, it depends how you're going to clinch with him. So yeah, do what I think what you're saying is going to be safest.
Because I think I can.
MMA gloves can use.
I think I can grab the wrists. It's not as comfortable, but the MMA gloves should.
Okay. In other words, you wouldn't be able to do wrist locks on him with the boxing gloves.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. So let's just isolate the throws. Yeah.
Okay.
So putting it all together, rondori. We call it rondori, like in judo, because it's freestyle. It doesn't mean multiple attackers. Let's not go there yet. Let's see if it can work on one guy.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to formally rate, bow to your partner. Kamai, take a stance. Hajime, everything. And dial it up a little bit. Nice. All right.
Your leg?
My ankle?
I guess that's it though.
Yeah.
You should
Sorry.
we're done.